Hey, what's up guys? Man, it's a scorcher today. So this is still the same day that it was when I started the second day of Marla's roof lights and the beginning of repairing the overhead console and working a little bit on electrical. And I'm at a point where it's smoking hot out and the roof is done and the overhead panel is in the midst of being done, and I'm running out of something to do with Marla for now. I do want to get underneath and move some suspension stuff around, see if I can't get that truck to lean the other way, but it's super hot. And the nice thing about working on a Cabover, like Krystal here, this beautiful piece of machinery, man, I love this truck. And you know what? It's got some wasps living in it, some cats living in it, and I've really neglected this old girl. And the reason the cats are getting in there is because there's a hole in the floor for the shifter and the truck is up, so it's not covered. The cat's been in and out of there and there's wasps and all kinds of crap in there. But anyways, I'm standing here next to this beautiful piece of machinery, Krystal. Man, I love Krystal. I don't know what it is about this old truck, but I love everything about it. And I'm at a point right now where I'm kind of half in, half out when it comes to this old 12-cylinder Detroit. And this is a 12V92, not a 12V71. Huge difference. The 12V92 is two 6V92s bolted together. And it's super big. The way they have the exhaust on there, this is an industrial engine. And so the exhaust is really big because in an industrial setting, it doesn't matter how big the engine is. You just build the cage for it and it's all good. But in a truck, you're limited by some space, and so we're going to have to get after changing some things around. And one of the things I absolutely positively have to do right now is I have to take some of the exhaust off, tape over the holes so nothing gets in there, get the rear cab perch back on, and get this cab lowered down on the perch, and then get underneath the truck and move the engine a little bit back and forth and make a front mount and see if I'm going to be able to stay with this engine. Now listen to me. Just listen to me for a second. I want, more than almost anything, for this engine to work in this truck. You know, the engine's damaged and it needs rebuilt, and I don't care. I'll rebuild it. I'll do it right here in the frame. I don't care. It isn't about that. What it is about is getting stuff to fit and getting stuff to work. Now this truck is, it has a mechanical transmission linkage that is designed to go to tuck around behind the back of a straight six engine and go to the transmission and do what it's got to do. And with this big V motor, there's no way for that to happen. So I'm going to have to see if I can engineer a new shift linkage that'll work. That might be a problem. The engine is so wide that I don't think the cab will come down and clear it. So at the very least, I'll have to take off some exhaust. Now let me move you over here so I can show you what I plan to do today. I need to get finish the floor inside. I need to finish putting the AC back in, the heat and AC unit back in. And I need to get this old girl to where I can start it and drive it and get it to where I can move it, because I can't have all broke down trucks here in front of the shop. They have to be, my truck's got to start and run. I can't be collecting stuff that don't run like other YouTubers. So here we go. This is what I'm gonna do. This piece right here is definitely a no-go. If you look where the cab closes, the cab's got to come down to about right here, and this is just not gonna work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take these 8 bolts off and take this piece off, and then I'm going to plug these holes. Now that's not a victory. That's not okay, good, we've made something clear. That isn't that at all. That is just get this out of the way so the cab can come down, so that I can look at all the other stuff that is going to interfere. Then, and only then, will I be able to start trying to figure out what I'm doing with this. This is that mechanical shift linkage that I was talking about. And I think it can be right like this. I think it can run right along next to this exhaust. Even if I do put some sort of elbow on that comes out this way, which will probably be what happens, I'll I'll probably take and cut this off, and then I'll turn it so that the elbow is actually coming out here. And I'll do the same thing with this one and turn it, and so the exhaust elbows will come out this way. Then I'll make some more elbows to make the exhaust come back around the engine. I'll put some turbos back there. I'm not concerned about how to make the exhaust work, because I can do anything I want. I can have this exhaust come out and put a turbo right here with an air inlet this way and an exhaust that way, and it would be fine. Make a turbo mount and put a turbo right here. Not a huge deal. Have the boost pipe go up into the back and go in there. Or I can have exhaust come out and go around back and come up and put a turbo on each blower. There's a million things I can do with this. This is nothing. There are some things that are something. The way that the V8 and the V6 Detroit cools is there's actually kind of two separate cooling systems. And if this was just a 6 or an 8 V92, this plumbing right here would not be there. These would be plugged off. This, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a big thermostat housing right here. It would be a small thermostat housing. It'd be a little bit lower. A hose would come out about right here and go to the We don't have that luxury. So we're gonna have to maybe make some custom billet tops for these cooling tubes. It could be a big deal. It may not be a big deal, but it may be a big deal. I'm not sure why this feels like it's bolted down, but I think it's just smashed in there. So we're gonna have to get a look at that and see what's up. But this needs modified. This needs to come off. This needs modified a little bit. Oh, I think the engine's sitting on it, which is no big deal. We'll just jack it up, move this over, and then we can modify that if we need to. This is jammed up in there as well. This is the throttle, which will not work with this engine. So what we'll do is we'll probably take that throttle out, make it an air throttle, and put an air doohickey thingamajigger on here. But that's all future. This exhaust comes off. That exhaust on that side comes off. Those get taped up. These go inside on the shelf. The fuel filter housings get taken off, and we jack this cab up. We put the perch back in, and we lower the cab down on the perch, and then we just see what else is going to happen. And then also this engine is too far that way by a fuzz. And there's some fittings over on the oil cooler side. We'll get involved in that. But there's some fittings over there that are inaccessible, and so there's a lot of reasons why this engine may not stay in this truck. And I am not happy with any of them, believe me. One other thing we may do is we may get 4 6 V92 exhaust manifolds, which are considerably smaller. And they hug up against the block, and that'll bring the exhaust closer to the engine, which we could end up with an exhaust pipe that comes up in this area, goes to one turbo, comes up in this area, goes to another turbo. There's a lot of options for exhaust, but there aren't any options when it comes to oil cooling. Aside from windowing the frame, which I think is not a good idea. I could cut a big window in the frame and plate the window with like 1-inch plate on each side, so you can actually go into those oil coolers with straight fittings. I do not want to do that. I will, but I do not want to. So anyways, that's a lot of data, but let's get these exhaust manifolds off, get those taped up, and get the fuel filter setup taken off, and get those lines capped. And let's get this off, and let's get the bridge back in, and let's get this cab down and see just where this is gonna interfere. And I'm almost 100% positive that the top of this thermostat housing is going to interfere with the floor. But there's options. We have options. I can have some billet tops made out of aluminum and move the radiator hose over. There's options. I can make this smaller. There's options. So let's get started. Let's get this exhaust off, and let's just see. Maybe you can see the yeah, you can see this this radiator hose and this are going to be interfering with each other by a bunch. And so this needs to be moved over a little bit at least. And I see the way this housing is, we might be able to do that. So I'm not going to get too upset about that, but there are some other obstacles that we're going to have to work on. But let's see if we can get this exhaust off. So taking this exhaust off should be simple. Now, I might not be able to get to this one, so this may be not as simple as I immediately thought it was going to be, but anyhow, we'll get the ones that we know will come off, and then if we have to, we'll get the torch after the other ones. Ouch. Nice. That one's already off. I must have taken that off when I was smart, when it was in the shop and I could get to everything. I think I can use an extension. Be right back. Alright, so I'm going to try to just get up under here with a socket and a ratchet. But it's not going to work. Yeah, it's just not going to work. Man. And this has to come this way. And I might be able to do something. Let me come up with something here. You know, that's the thing. Why does there have to be one or two that just suck, you know? Might have got you. Might have just stripped you. I don't really know what's going on. Feels like it might be loosening up. That would be pretty cool. Be nice to get Krystal back down on the mounts. I'm gonna get the windows out, the windshields out. I got new rubbers and get the windshields out, fix around the windshield, fiberglass repair, prime and paint the frame of the window, and then put the new windshields in. Hey. Nice. Nice. Plenty of room to put a 90 right there, or 45 or 30 or 65 or whatever it's going to take to get the exhaust coming back here. And if I decide to do 2 turbos, I can put 2 turbos, one right here, one right there, or I can just make this exhaust come into a Y right here and then come around with the turbo flange. So lots of things we can do with that. Super excited that that's no longer an issue. This thing is going to be an issue. This we'll need to put a bolt in this. I think I'll do that right now. Be right back. All right, so the sun's on this side, so this may end up being a quick job. We'll see. Looks like it's exactly the same as the other side, so we'll take off the bolts we can, and then we'll fight the ones that don't want to come out. Okay, that one don't have one on it, so that's good. And then this has got to come off, and it's going to be a pain in the ass, but I mean, it's not going to be impossible. I forgot that was an open hole too. So, yeah. This one has one. Unfortunate, but not the end of the world. Nope, just gotta go the other way. Can you see me? Sweating. So we're just going to work this nut off the bottom there, and then we'll get the bolt freed up in the hole, and then this will come right off. And then we'll get this nut out, and then this can come off down on the ground. So other updates, the suspension tube from Franny, it's been hard for the machine shop guy to get to it, one thing after another. So what happened is he's trying to get it done, likely be Monday, and that's fine. And then once that comes, we'll switch gears and put that on, and then get the airbags working on that suspension, and then and then Franny can be driven. I'd like to do a first real start or real drive. That would be cool. Take it to town and get some fuel. Knock this heater hose off and pee my foot. But it'd be nice to go and get some fuel. I'm gonna try and get the steps, the passenger side steps, while I'm home this time, and do the exhaust. Here we go. Wow, that sucker's heavy. Okay, so there you go. Now we'll take this off. Looks like it's going to be 9/16. And then what we'll do is we're just going to leave this all hooked up, but we're going to put it over into the front of the motor. We'll get these, hopefully we can get these bolts out. Stinging sweat for sure. Okay, I got it. And then this can go right here. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with it being right there. And now I feel confident that I can let this cab down a little bit so we can get a look at what else might be happening. Now, hope you can see in there. I hope you're still recording. Actually, you are. So, again, on this side, same thing as on the other side, right? I foresee this being in the way. So I think the cab will come down and it'll hit right about here on this. And so I think I'm gonna just take those off. You know, I got most of the bolts out of this one in. I'll just finish and I'll knock that off. This piece right here. And then this will probably come down. This one is actually gonna miss. The other side won't. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe this one can stay on there. Let me find the bridge. And let me put the bridge back on. The bridge sits right here. So let me put that in and put a couple bolts in. That way if I do have it, if it does come down, I got a place for it to sit. All right, so phone overheated. The only thing you really missed me do was, hopefully, was just tape those off and put that perch right there in. It's just setting on a couple bolts, something for the cab to come down on. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just have you set over here in the shade, and we're just going to see how the cab closes without the exhaust. I see the cab going a little crooked, so that must be down. So let's go the other way. Yeah, that should be up. Some wasps in there, we'll kill them. We'll get this cab coming up. There we go. It's the best working cab jack I own. And it's looks like the biggest piece of crap. Okay, so now I'm going to look on this side over here. I think it's going to hit, but let's keep coming. This side will clear, which is weird because I thought it was too far over this way, but obviously it's. Let's get a look. Yeah, it's pretty much going to hit on this water manifold, but how much? How much is it going to hit? That I don't know. This one clears by a bunch. Something is happening. I don't know what's going on. I'm fixing to know what's going on here in a second. Oh, I see. Yeah, yep, we gotta go back up. The throttle pedal is not happy, and we don't want to ruin that because, well, because we don't. So we're going to go up with this. We're going to take that linkage off, and while we're doing that, we might take that water manifold off. So what could happen here is this is clearing by, looks like over an inch. We might window the frame for those oil cooler lines to come through, and then move that front of the engine over this way 1 inch, and that might clear a lot of the stuff that's going on. We have to get a new oil dipstick tube because that's holding the engine over that way a little bit. Well, it's not holding the engine, believe me, the engine has to flatten that thing. Let me bring you over here so you can see what's going on. I kept hearing something crinkle, crunk, crunk, crink, 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 and then, yeah, the throttle pedal linkage is jammed up in here, and it was making a ruckus. So we'll put it here. It's bent a little bit, but we can straighten it. As that comes down, this will be fine sitting up here. that's for sure gonna hit. So I think what I'll do is I'll just buzz these bolts off and take it off. And then once we get it down and sitting on the perch, then we can look at what we can do to move the engine over. Maybe window the frame. That's a big deal. I don't recommend doing that. But let's say we take the plasma cutter and we cut out a square in the frame. And then if it's between the two spring perches, I think it's not a big deal. And so I think it's going to be like in this area on that side. So let's say we cut out this frame for access to that cooler, and then we take a 1-inch piece of steel and we weld it all the way around both sides. It'll be super strong. And you know, maybe people won't like that idea, but I think it's a great idea. And if it comes to that being the thing that keeps this engine from being in here, that's happening. Let me grab the impact. Alright, so we got those bolts out. We got to be careful because we don't have anything holding the cab up, so we don't want to get in a pinch position here in case it comes down. You've seen cabs come down harsh before, and it ain't pretty, believe it. Okay, so two thermostats per side. All right, so I think that'll clear now. Put you right here in case something crazy goes on, but it should come right down and get on the perch without hitting anything. Okay, we're going to stop it right there. Come around. I don't sense them bending anything. It looks good. Looks like it's going to clear pretty good. Move you back here. You'll be in the sunlight a little bit, so we can not make too many adjustments. Make sure that stick ain't hitting nothing in the cab. Yeah, it dug a hole in the blue mat, but it's getting redone anyways. I'm bleeding like a stuck pig over here. Not even sure what it did, but this wasp will take care of me for sure. All right, so for me, it looks like that thing fits pretty good without the exhaust on. We know that water neck probably was going to be an issue, and let me get you off of here. It's going to be a little wiggly, you know, because I'm switching to manual controls, but it looks like it clears pretty good. And yeah, there's plenty of room there for the exhaust to come out over the shifter tube. We'll have to mount some kind of bushing here, right? And then there'll have to be a mechanism that goes over that way. but I think we can do it. And worst case scenario is I'll have to put a cable shift in this thing, and I don't think that's going to be fun, but I also don't think it's impossible. So you know, guys, it looks see, there's a tear in the pad from the shifter, but you know, for the most part, this thing fits in there. Now we can jack the front end up a little bit. We can see where the interference is going to be in between that water neck. So the front of the motor should go towards the passenger side, but we know that that's not a thing, because with the way the water pump is and the way those fittings are down there, see, that one's below the chassis, but there's one right in the chassis, and so we'd have to window that, and that front end needs to go up an inch, and that would put it close to there. But I mean, even if it's just a 1/4 of an inch off, that'd be fine. And the water pump, the way the water pump is, let me switch you around. Whew, super hot out. The way the water pump is on that truck, it doesn't come straight out. It comes out and goes off to the side, of course. If it went straight up and down, I could move that front end over. I could put a 3-inch round window in, put a straight fitting into that oil cooler, and move that front end over, split the difference, and those things will work. And I may do that. I may take the water pump off and take it to the machine shop and have a new cover made, a billet aluminum water pump cover with a bottom hose. And that sounds like a major deal, but I don't think it is. And or I could take that cast one and I could cut that bottom spout off and re-weld a straight up and down one on there. You know, cut it off and then turn it and weld it back on, so instead of coming out this way towards the frame, it comes out straight. And I'm gonna look at doing that. I'm gonna get a water pump and I'm gonna see if I can get it done. Maybe the machine shop can do it. Maybe they can, maybe I can get a machine shop to do it. And then I'll put the water pump on and then see where that fitting is for the oil cooler, and hole drill like a 2-inch hole in the frame and scoot that engine over, and then put a straight fitting into the oil cooler. And if that works, you know, I can move the engine over a 1/2 inch and both of those water necks will clear. It's literally 1/2 inch. It's not even a 1/2 inch. I could get it with a 1/4, but let's say there's 1 inch on one side and no clearance on the other. We split the difference, move it a 1/2 inch, and then both of those lines will be easy peasy. And then I can make some new fuel lines and move the fuel filters to the back, make some elbows for the exhaust. And I think the exhaust elbows are going to be easier than initially initially planned. I think it might be a go. So we're going to clean up these tools, and it's still scalding out. We'll find out what to do next while we wait for the sun to go down, about another 1.5 hours, and then we'll try and get Candy. Get those horns put on and plumbed in. And man, things are going pretty good. This is only day 2. I got most of the stuff on the roof of Marla. Should have a new horn Wednesday, and we'll just throw the new horn on, slap some gaskets under the mounts, throw that new horn on, and Jessica's going to make me some stickers for the front of the square horns, and they might just say pretty, I don't know. And then Marla will have the horns and the headliner in, or excuse me, Candy will have the horns and the headliner done, and Krystal's gonna have that front mount done. I don't know if I'm gonna do the front mount. I gotta get the water pump off, see if I can fix that neck. And if that's a go, then I'm gonna bore a hole in the frame and then I'm gonna bore a hole in the frame and put a straight fitting on and make sure I got room there. And then if that's a thing, man, we're in. I think we're in, and that's cool. Starting to get a little excited. It's might be premature, but we're starting to get a little excited. So anyways, I don't know where this part of the video is going to fall in. I may just put it in with something else, but we're on track to get some things done this time home, and I'll see you.